Good morning, moaners.
Good morning, coffee moaners. What are you drinking this morning? Are you having a coffee?
Oh, it's nice and creamy.
Actually, I had something unusual today. I had a macchiato.
You filthy
Do you know what a
cow.
macchiato is?
No, I don't.
Who knows what a macchiato is? Come on, let's see.
What's a mocha?
A mocha is coffee and chocolate. But that was really nice.
Okay, I bet you haven't heard of this one. Frappucciata.
Pamplinata.
Competititi.
Tornata licata.
Stereotocalalca.
So whenever we get a new coffee to try, I have it as a macchiato, because then you're getting the real taste of the coffee. And actually, this one is really nice.
This is a black sheep of the
Black
family.
sheep. Look at the lovely
coffee.
cream on the top of that espresso.
Look at the cream on my head.
I don't know if it's the coffee that makes the difference for the cream or whether it's the machine. But anyway,
I think it's the size of the blend and the size of the deepness of the roast.
Okay. So we're enjoying that at the minute.
So
listen, guys, welcome. If this is your first time to our channel, Coffee Moaning is our daily show. And for those that are here regularly, you'll forgive me for just explaining. We are kitchen table news. I am giving us a great big new genre there.
Kitchen table news.
Yeah, what we talk about as a family with our friends, and having got to know so many of you so well, also what you like. I did actually say, I don't know if Jackie Valino's here. Jackie Valino, are you here?
Think, yeah.
I actually said to Mark yesterday, I think Jackie Valino's getting a bit annoyed with all our politics. Not annoyed. No. She misses out sometimes when we're doing more politics.
But she's always there for the members area, where we do no politics in the members area.
So that's how we do the news. So you might come to us and go, oh, how come they're not talking about this story? Because we're not a news channel.
Yeah, we don't cover everything.
We try and do news from our heart, what makes our heart ache or sing or worry. Yeah, that's what it is.
And we will, to be honest with you though, we will sometimes touch upon stuff that we know resonates for you or is resonating for people, and sometimes it's a case of thinking, hang on, this story isn't being reported honestly or correctly.
And that's why we've been so strong on the Gaza situation, and we are going to today be talking about the absolute crisis. The famine is well and truly bedded in, the man-made famine. So we're going to be talking about that. But if we could just ask you first, if you could just hit the subscribe button, because we do work really hard on this channel, and it really helps us if you hit that subscribe button. And also it just gives us a little, that's nice.
Jackie Valino, I'm always here. Sometimes don't comment. I just want to quickly say,
you're always here, Jackie.
Yeah, thanks, Jackie. Lee Durrant, good morning, everyone. I explained how Lee was feeling at the moment. He said thank you for all of your messages, but a little brief message here, Lee Durrant. Good morning, everyone. Just wanted to say hello real quick, and thanks for all your messages of support of late. Lots of love. Sending you love.
Struggling.
Yeah, sending you lovely.
So
I just want to also say, yesterday someone contacted me and said, I hate the way you two throw yourselves under the bus a bit. You do great, heartfelt, independent journalism.
That's what we said.
Yeah, you said kitchen table journalism.
Kitchen table news.
Yeah, but I like that. Heartfelt, independent journalism. I like that.
Yeah.
Because journalism rarely accounts for the heart.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't say journalism, so that I can't be shot down for calling myself a journalist. And of course, I absolutely am not a journalist. It's like, I've done 5 cookery books. But my God, if I do a show ever and they call me a chef, I am beside myself with fear. I am not a chef. I've had no training to be a chef, but I love to cook from my heart. I love to cook, big tasty meals that I know people will love. And kind of in a way, that's what we do here. So yeah, if you can hit that subscribe button, more importantly, even for us, the subscribe button, and you don't have to pay to subscribe, guys, is sharing the Gaza news.
Zoe says, by the way, your latest podcast, I didn't have the strength. Believe me, you'll have the strength. It's fun. Zoe, it's very
Why didn't you have the strength?
Well, because size doesn't matter.
Oh, it goes all over the place. I can tell you that.
Everywhere.
Anyway, yes. So today we are touching on the Trump and Ghislaine discussion. As I was just saying over on Instagram, it's just the next step.
Oh, this is unbelievable.
It's so cringe. It's so cringe what they're trying to do next.
Yeah, when you dig into this Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell story, and actually, which we will, you'll realize part of it seems so unbelievable that you think, well, that can't be what they're doing, and then you read it and you go, oh, that is what they're doing. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking also about the fact that the famine, sorry, I haven't popped it in the headline, but the famine in Gaza is at an absolute turning point. I mean, you know, what makes it even more newsworthy today is 111 humanitarian aid agencies and charities have all been co-signatories to a letter stating this fact. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah. I didn't know we were doing the games.
No, well, we can lose that. We can lose that.
We can chat about that, but put in.
Yeah, can I change the title whilst you're talking
title,
and tell us what we're going to be doing with Ozzy Osbourne?
So Ozzy Osbourne, as I was just saying over on Instagram, the Osbournes. I was never a fan of Ozzy Osbourne's music. I don't think Mark ever was. It wasn't our scene, you know. But my God, we loved the Osbournes, and they cracked open a whole new genre, didn't they? Of like reality, celebrities being seen for real. You know, they were really, I mean, obviously they would have been edited to hell, but it felt very much that we'd never seen anything like this in their homes, in their kitchens, in their rows, in their food, in his drugs, everything. And oh my God, it was like a pinball machine in my brain. I just loved it so much. And we used to, it was appointment to view for us.
Just breaking news, just carry on.
Oh, sorry. It was appointment to view for Mark and I. So I was just wondering, do you guys have similar passions for the Osbourne? And you know what's interesting is that our girls, like, especially Maddie, you know, when your youngsters discover something and they come to you like they're the first ones to discover it. Do you remember when she started showing us clips of the Osbournes?
God, we used
and
to
then
watch
that brought
it
all back for us. No, but as an older person, she's forgotten some.
Well, no, and often if you're you know, in the members area, when we do funny shit, sometimes Ozzy Osbourne will pop up in her clips and in her memes. I've got some photos here. Obviously, this is the story that he's died. He tragically died at the age of 76. He had struggled.
Incredible that he lasted till 76.
Well, he said it himself. Here's a quote from him in 86. "I'm not a musician, I'm a ham."
I think that's probably true.
Yeah,
he was a performer. Morning,
he was
darling.
a performer. Osbourne left at the Rock in Rio Music Festival. Just some photos here. Here he is with Sharon in the early days. Here he is. Don't you think he looks like Eddie on the right there? Look at him on the right. What I love about these guys is that they come from my hometown, Birmingham. They come
and he
from
never
Aston.
lost his accent.
Lost his accent. And there is something deeply kind of normalizing about the Brummie accent. I just love it. There he is in a hot tub. Fortunately, you can't see his penis, but that's a rubber chicken in his mouth. I just loved his insanity, his stupidity, his surrealism. His
anarchy.
And his anarchy. You're absolutely right.
He's a true anarchist, because even at 76, he was still an anarchist, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And I mean, when you think about the Osbournes, and we all think of it fondly and we laugh, but there was so much tragedy going on in that family. And that's part of why I really liked it. Not because they were going through tragedy, but I always say every single family has its tragedies, has its nightmares. And they were, before we got the perfection that we're being sold all the time on social media, they were Instagram versus reality, weren't they? They were proper, and because of that, that's really soothing. It's like, you know, people sometimes say to you, well, why do you show all your mess? Aren't you ashamed? Aren't you disgusted? Sometimes, you know, you get these trolley sort of comments, and I pause and I think, do you know what? Sometimes I get a bit embarrassed because it shows like the chaos of my head.
What, like love eggs? Like that.
Shut up, you're still in massive trouble for that. But actually, I get so many messages from people saying, oh, I've got to feel a bit better today. And I think the Osbournes made us all feel a bit better.
I'd be lying if I didn't say that I think that a lot of our vlogging in the early days, certainly, and in more recent years as well. I mean, many times people would say, oh my God, you're like Ozzy Osbourne in terms of my complete stupidity.
I mean, people often say to us, God, this is like the Osbournes.
It's like the Osbournes not in LA, but in Croydon.
Except he went to rehab once and stayed sober for 20 years. Absolutely. And Ozzy went to multiple. I
mean, I think the one thing one always feels as soon as you hear Ozzy Osbourne talked about it, you think, I want to see a clip. I want to see something funny. Shall we see some clips?
Yeah.
I've got some. I've curated some clips from TikTok and other areas, but check this one out. Remember this?
And we're talking with the one and only Ozzy Osbourne. Good evening, Ozzy.
What?
Good evening, Ozzy.
Hello there.
How are you?
Fine.
Ozzy, first of all, it has been rumored that you have bitten off the heads of doves, bats, dogs, everything. We want to set the record straight. What head did you really bite?
Well, in actual fact, if you want me to be funny, I bit my own head off. But in actual fact, some guy went at one gig on the last tour, threw a bat on stage, and every night we do a gig, you get all these crazy people that come and throw this junk on stage, and and I thought it was one of these rubber bats. I pictured it, it was a real bat.
Was it alive?
Well, it was till I bit it.
Oh, it was alive until he bit its head off.
It's funny there saying that about his accent. He's obviously had a posh moment there.
No, he was taking the piss out of her.
Oh,
He went,
but she was American.
I know, but he was going, but it was a posh American. Yeah. This is how we remember the Osbournes.
No! Who pissed on my fucking carpet? That bastard fucking dog, man. I'm gonna throw it in the fucking pool. Where are you? Get the fuck out of my house, you fucking... Get the fuck out. Go on, get... It's that fucking terrorist. It's fucking part of Bin Laden's gang. Why did they do it, Sharon? What's the deal, man?
What's the deal, Sharon?
You want to rinse out? You want to rinse out? How about taking a rinse? You want to rinse out?
What's happened? He's got anaesthetic.
No.
No?
Move. What?
Why don't you take a rinse? I think it'll feel better.
Watch.
He looks like they're dying.
He's going into his head.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
That's how Nanny died, takes her drink.
Mum, maybe you've got the same drug-addled degenerative thing as him. This is a very funny clip. Do you remember this one?
It's a new gum.
You winding me up.
No, taste it.
It's a fucking stamp. Nothing there.
Do you like it?
Fucking crap, it disappeared.
It's just meant to freshen your mouth.
It's not gum, then you lied to me.
Well, I wanted you to try it.
Fucking horrible.
Did she stand it?
Well, I think she wound him up. I think I mean, look at this clip here. You can see she has an affectionate, she knows how to get him going. Check this clip out.
Consisted of me, Bill, Tony, and Gaza.
You don't want to do any promotion,
It's not my band.
but it's a part of your history.
Yeah, but
Do you want the
you and
option?
me, what would you do?
Rolling Stone and
If you'd been fired from the band, would you want to promote it?
Well, it's 23 fucking years ago and you get paid on every record that's sold. 23 years ago. You don't want to do any promotion for it at all.
Sharon, I will say it very slowly. It is not my band, and I don't want to do any promotion. Let them whose band it is do the fucking promotion.
Do you want to do it?
Yes. Black Sabbath.
See, I think you're
I
absolutely
prefer
right. I think
those when they're not too, when he's not too out of it. It makes me feel sad.
No, I know, but I think the thing that we got from them, and I think people loved, and I'd like to think when people come to our stuff and they enjoy it, it's unvarnished. It's the extent to which stuff is unvarnished. And obviously they will have had controlled setups where they knew he was in the right frame of mind. But I think that was what made it so refreshing.
His neck. What's he done with his neck that week?
I know.
He's always hurting himself.
There's another, this is a funny one.
Don't scream! Please don't scream!
You're screaming.
Is it behind the mirror?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
up
on
top.
top,
Oh,
on
but
top.
look, Dad, please don't push
But
the
the
mirror.
thing is, Dad,
Because look at it. Look at the mirror.
I'm just calm fucking down, man.
Oh, Daddy, please.
But how the fuck am I gonna get it? You're gonna come on my hand up there.
No! We've got a tickling stick. That's an antique.
Be careful. It's my computer.
Step on it.
Oh, no, my end. No, it's a horrible idea.
I don't like this at all.
Dad, stop, Dad.
Smacking him in the head.
I think that's going to but it's an attack movement. Oh, no, stop it! Stop it!
Shut the fuck up!
Yeah, we loved it.
Absolutely loved him. Loved him. And there is a moment here, just referencing back to his time in prison.
Coming back,
For what?
peeling potatoes.
Did you have to really do that when you're in jail?
Yeah, I made bread.
Who went to jail?
Dad,
What for?
stealing.
Well, how old were you, Ozzy?
32.
32.
32.
Did he go
Went
to prison?
for stealing.
Did he?
Well, I mean, who knows what I don't know. Incredibly entertaining, incredibly irreverent. I mean, they literally don't make rock stars like that anymore, do they? I saw Elton John's post saying he's possibly the funniest person he's ever known.
Oh, we got it. Elsa Pop wants us to announce this very good news.
Elsa Pop. Hi guys, can we mention some happy news? England women's team are through to the Euros final. We play either Spain or Germany. That is brilliant news. That is
Thank you,
brilliant
Elsa Pop.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
I mean, they just went through everything. Do you remember Sharon and her cancer, the addiction, and their kids? And there was always the daughter that was never in it. The one daughter that said, I want nothing to do with that. I always really admired that.
Yeah. And also,
it would have been very tempting.
Well, maybe not, but I mean, it's like our family. We have family members that never wanted to be on it, or be in it. I mean, crikey, it's great. It was strict. It was very preemptive, really, of social media, wasn't it? It was an incredibly social media show before there was anything like social media.
It was.
Yeah. And he did almost die on his quad bike too.
That's what I was about to say. Do you remember he's had, I mean, really 76 for the amount of addiction and chaos, prison, accidents. Did he fall off the stage once?
He fell off a few times. Oh. Yeah. He was in prison for 6 weeks, apparently, YouTube says.
Really? Right. But for Sharon and the family, my God.
Oh my God, how do you lose a character?
I mean, because people might say, oh, but oh God, but they know, he was always, that doesn't make a blind bit of difference.
No.
Today and forever, they will have to be trying to grow around this grief because,
someone like that leaves an enormous hole. And don't get me wrong,
everyone always leaves an enormous hole.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And don't get me wrong. The other thing about someone who was an addict, and I know he fell off the wagon a fair few times with various substances,
and was unfaithful many times.
Exactly. So the consequences of a huge character can be both positive and negative. And obviously, what you get on that show was more often the kind of fun, frivolity, and the silliness. And it's like anything, you
didn't get enough of the truth of what was going on. I seem to remember, I could be wrong. I feel like they talked a lot about the addiction and the kids, huge impact on the kids. They've both struggled with addiction since. So obviously that was something that piqued our interest as well, wasn't it? The fact that and I imagine for you, having gone to rehab and then stayed sober, it must have been, I don't know, was it quite life affirming for you and what you were doing?
I think when it came out,
is it like that if you managed to stay sober? You feel sad for the person that hasn't, but you must also feel like, I don't know, some sort of sense of well done.
I mean, without talking about what's happened in our lives, survivor's guilt kicks in around the strangest people and the strangest situations. Obviously not survivor's guilt. Survivor's guilt usually it means you've got a close proximity to the person who's been taken down. We're going through something where I'm feeling that a little bit, and you sort of, and it's a difficult one, that, because you look at what makes that person hold it together, what keeps that person sober. What would keep one person sober isn't necessarily what I haven't done the same things to keep me sober. No. I think so much of it is luck, so much of it is serendipity. I mean, he had a very, regardless of what we think of everything subsequent with Sharon, he obviously had a very close, loving, supportive family. Who knows if he'd have lasted as long if he didn't have that.
Absolutely. And I wonder also, when you're so famous for being so crazy, how do you become uncrazy? I mean, I don't think I ever saw any discussion about Ozzy or any interview where that bloody biting the bat's head off didn't come up. And it was just like,
I even felt in that sort of
something different.
That archive clip, I also felt, because often when you see it, you just see his answer and his silly face. But when he says, "Do you want me to be silly?" you almost felt, even back then, he felt they might just want the silly answer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how much of it was performative?
It's genuinely, I think, incredibly difficult if you have addiction problems.
Yeah.
Anyone. But I think there is another layer to it when that's what you're so known for, when you're famous for that. It was everyone, like his addiction was something that people almost felt warmly about, fondly about, that you wouldn't really for anybody else. And maybe it was because he was so childlike in his sort of,
I do remember. I do
disorientation.
Remember, it's funny you should say that, though. I do remember on a couple of moments, and it might have been around that cat episode. I remember us watching it, and I must have just come out of rehab quite recently when it was running, or it was rerunning. And I remember saying to you, I'm not entirely sure whether at the edges this is entirely being enjoyed by, you know, all members of the family. Yes, they're kind of, there's the hijinks. So, I mean, the thing about a huge personality
I don't think our girls would like to see you.
No, exactly. And I think he was off his tits for a lot of that series as well.
Yeah, you could tell there were times.
Yeah. Anyway,
he lived life as he wished to.
He
I
really
would
did.
say he was wild.
Yeah,
totally
look, that's interesting. DP says, I found some of watching him a bit sad always.
Well, do you know what's interesting? Just watching those clips there now, I thought differently about it.
Yeah, it's dated in a different way, hasn't it? You feel like you're watching someone ricocheting around sort of insecurity and frailty, really emotional, you know.
Yeah.
She does it, yeah. What did Reese say?
His best moments were like that when you're screaming and shouting at family and they were all driving him mad. I don't like it when he was too disorientated.
Coral Roberts, hi Coral,
sad,
hope you're well. Ozzy said he thought the band would last for 2 years. He was very grateful for the live music.
Exactly. I think that you always felt that, didn't you? You didn't feel like he got the wanker vibe.
And I love the tribute, and the tribute from his drummer. I loved where he said, "Who'd have fucking thought 4 boys from Aston?" And you know, Aston as in Aston Villa. Every band goes through hell, don't they?
Yeah, everyone. Did they sack him then?
Can't wait for
this is not my fucking band.
I'm sure they probably did. I mean, he was insufferable, wasn't he? I mean, all bands sack each other.
You've got to be able to stand up on stage.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
the thing.
Okay, so moving on.
Rest in peace, and you know, heartfelt to his family.
We're going to arrive at the end. We're going to be talking about the Gaza famine. We're just going to go via this story. Trump and Ghislaine. Congress are to subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell amid political firestorm over Epstein files. Now, this is a really curious evolution to the story.
Mostly because I couldn't believe that she hadn't already been spoken to.
Yes, exactly. Well, no, but the weirdest part about all okay, so
right. So where are we at?
Okay, let me see if I've got this anyway vaguely near to what I think's happening. So there's the Epstein files that were on Pam Bondi's desk. They existed, they didn't exist, etc. Donald Trump got into power, promising his base that they would reveal all.
Because Biden and Obama also had access to those files, but they never made promises. They didn't run on the promise.
No.
So that's the difference. Yeah. They've covered up a whole load of shit as well.
So Trump threw this out there to MAGA with the promise, with the suggestion being really that the likes of Clinton and lots of the kind of Democrats and the wokerati celebs are going to be implicated in the Epstein files.
And the sort of disenfranchised MAGA believed that once this truth came out, then all the truth was going to come out. Epstein was a Democrat, so it was like, you know, we're going to finally see that all the Democrats are involved, this dark underground ring of pedophiles, and then somehow all of our lives are going to be made better once we've got all the names and the facts and the figures. And of course, it wasn't only Trump that ran on this. Multiple podcasters and influencers made a lot of money. They made a lot of money over years pushing out this story. So this is why it's not going away for Trump in the way that he has always been able to do before, which is always been able to fully manipulate the press and his MAGA crowd, but it's not working. No,
it's not working because now Trump rather stupidly has realized he could be implicated. There's the worry that there's the smoking gun. There's the worry that he was very close with Epstein. Is there compromising material? Now, what's happened is there's unease amongst the Trump sort of supporter base that's like, well, hang on a minute, you promised this, but why are you getting a bit fidgety and a bit itchy and a bit weird
also,
about
he told them all that they were stupid.
Yes. Now,
you shouldn't really do that to your face.
The next thing they said was, okay, well, we're not going to vote on that yet, so let's kick that can down the road. What we'll do is we'll open up the jury files from the Epstein trial, and this I felt was a kind of pivot because they would have only said that, Trump's lot would have only suggested that if they kind of already had foresight and knew that there was nothing implicating in that. So that was a crumb that they were offering up to kind of MAGA and the support of people who want to see the files. We'll give you the jury
which everybody's had for years. So there's nothing new there.
Nothing particularly new there. So that was the next thing. But now what?
And also they've been using the excuse, we have to protect the victims. Nobody needs to know anything else about the victims. We know about the victims, and there are apparently hundreds or thousands of videos. What we want to know is the men that raped these children, right? Because it's pedophiles. Okay. And at the moment, the only person that has been given a sentence or named or anything is a woman. Is that interesting?
Yeah, Ghislaine.
For all those men involved, Ghislaine Maxwell is serving 20 years. Now, she was vile. She was the madam. She was the pimp. She went out and caught the girls.
She wasn't the only one.
No, but I'm just saying why she's in prison, she's in prison for.
Yeah.
And very sadly, actually, I was listening to somebody today on the Andrew Marr show yesterday, and they were saying, what an absolute brute of a man Maxwell was, her father, and it's very widely thought that he was a spy for Mossad.
I think it was known he was a spy.
Yeah,
He was given a royal funeral.
Yeah.
In Israel.
But and he said, he was talking about what an absolute brute he was to her as well, really awful. And he even suspects there was sexual abuse with her and with so the only reason I'm giving that is it's always interesting to know a little bit more about somebody, isn't it? Because he said obviously she's done these terrible things, she's serving her time, but she's also a victim of men and brutish men. So she went from her brutish father to brutish Epstein. Epstein was given 12 months. He could go in and out of prison as he pleased. He could travel. He could carry on his business. Quite incredible.
So here's the thing. What I think is the problem here is that even the Epstein trial and all of the evidence put before the trial, everything in the jury transcripts, everything that's been said and admitted, has been well curated already. So I think there's already a kind of sense that there's going to be nothing here that kind of really reveals too much, certainly about Trump or anyone else. But this move to subpoena her, to bring her in, to potentially reveal a bit more. I tell you what I see this as.
They haven't spoken to her before now.
They haven't spoken to her before now. Now, Donald Trump was in the Oval Office yesterday pretending he didn't know that the Deputy Attorney General had requested this meeting with. He was like, I don't follow this stuff. What do you mean you don't follow this stuff? You've been following it for the last 2 weeks. I don't know anything about that. But it sounds like a good idea, though. Sounds like a good idea.
It's the most danger he's ever been in, and he's trying to make out he doesn't know anything.
I think what's going to happen here is their way to get out of this complete fucking cul-de-sac is to get Ghislaine Maxwell in a room, say to her, you can say whatever the fuck you want as long as you don't say anything about him.
But what can they offer her? They can't take her out.
That will be there will be a plea deal of sorts. And then that will be, whatever she then says will be thrown at the public, and that will be satisfying.
But
this is bizarre. It's like someone, I read a report in The Guardian saying this is like assuming Ghislaine Maxwell is a reliable narrator.
Exactly.
She's not.
She's a paedophile.
She's not going to give you the truth.
And
so I don't think this is about her revealing anything. This is about them controlling her. That's what I think this is.
I was listening to an interview with the director of the Prince Andrew. I can't remember whether I said this yesterday. And it wasn't on yesterday. And he was saying that Virginia Giuffre said that she was so vile, Ghislaine, so vile. And there's no way she'd have gone to Epstein's house if it hadn't been for Ghislaine being so posh and so charming. And don't forget, Virginia Giuffre was working at Mar-a-Lago for Trump when she was pimped over to Epstein. And, the thought that this woman, with so many women have suffered under the hands of her, could be given a deal and gotten out is quite disgusting. And I don't think MAGA will accept that.
Yeah, so let me tell you what I think is going to happen. They're going to subpoena her. The Department of Justice are going to talk with her. It's going to be a private conversation, which we get no sort of privy to. She's going to be massaged into revealing a lot, but nothing about Trump
or Mossad.
Trump, yeah, and more.
No, come on, it's more about
more
Mossad,
importantly
Mark.
about Mossad. Well, I mean, I've been saying it all along. You keep telling me it's in my opinion.
No, we can't say that categorically.
Well, hang on.
We don't
In my opinion,
but
in my
most
opinion, I've
people's
seen documentation. Again, I can't remember where, but I've seen printed documents, letters between the FBI and the legal team prosecuting Epstein, saying you cannot step towards this prosecution in this way because he is an intelligence agent. Now, the intelligence agency part of it. So I think what will happen is Ghislaine is going to throw red meat and content for the MAGA base, which will solve things for Trump. It will curate its way around him, and it will curate, you're right, absolutely right, it'll curate its way around the Mossad Israeli intelligence connection. He will then pardon her. And the reason he'll be able to pardon her is that the vast majority of people will feel they've been given so much information that they've got what they need. They've got what they need.
They want names of people.
Yeah, and I think she'll give them. I think she'll give names. They're going to tell her to give certain names. This is the reason they're subpoenaing her is to completely script her response. That's what I think is happening here.
I don't think it's going to be that easy to do.
And I also finally think MeTube is right. Is Katie Johnston or Kate Johnson the victim? Is she the victim? And I don't want to talk about the details. The awful one who was where she was made to wear gloves. It's the most. It is online. You can find her testimony online. It's a 15 to 20-minute interview.
Not she's the 13.
She's not 13 when she's interviewed.
No, I'm not thinking.
No, she's a grown woman. But the way she describes how she was brought in to service Trump, there is a smoking gun here for sure. So this idea that people say he's not really in there. He might not be in the actual files, but he's in there.
For me, it's much more about the Mossad accusations than even Trump, because we know Trump is a known pervert. I mean, he's a pervert. Yeah. You only have to. I mean, the amount of videos coming up time and time after again, the things that he says. I mean, who says to a 10-year-old, "Oh God, in another 8 years, I would date her"? Who thinks like that when they look at a pretty?
He talked about his 1-year-old daughter's breasts in the future.
Yeah. You cannot. You are a pervert if you look at a 10-year-old and go, "Oh, in a few years' time, I'll be taking you out." That's a pervert. What normal person looks at a child and thinks about sex with them in future years?
Totally agree. You must have heard that clip on the Howard Stern show where he talks about just being able to touch and look and see. Trump is explicitly named in the Kate Johnson case. You're absolutely right, and it's amazing that doesn't get dragged in and pulled up and used. If it's out there, if it's in the public realm,
it's like the girl that disappeared, the young girl, the very young girl, with those accusations, 13, and then she disappeared. It's like, where the hell she gone? Yeah,
Sarah D. Pervert seems too tame when describing him. I totally agree.
Yeah. Well, we can't say paedophile because we don't know. But for me, it's a paedophile's mind, in my opinion, that looks at a 10-year-old and goes, a few more years, and that's.
Okay, and given that connection between the Epstein files and Israel, and why is the West merely indulging in words, as we discussed Lammy yesterday, describing another politician as demeaning by saying you are personally responsible for this, appeasing this genocide? It's just the most appalling. We're in the most appalling situation with our leaders. Today, the newspapers are running with this. Mass starvation is spreading across Gaza. 111 aid agencies warn as pressure on Israel grows. I don't think pressure on Israel ever grows.
I don't think pressure. Where's the pressure?
It's Starmer under pressure from cabinet to recognize Palestinian state? I think he is.
Yeah. No, they will be. They will be behind the scenes. Don't forget, Netanyahu said about 6 weeks ago, as a speech to his people, "Sorry, guys, we've got to let a bit of flour in." I'm paraphrasing, but we've had from our friends in this, in America, we can't actually have images coming out of people starving to death. So that's why we've got to send in a bit of food. And even then, the settlers went to the border, and the few bits of flour that were allowed being, they sliced open the bags and let the flour all go on the floor. Those videos, we will see them.
But I don't think Israel responds to any external pressure. It's the only country in the world that in no way, shape or form listens to its allies at all.
And there are now hundreds out in the street in Tel Aviv, Israelis, with holding placards with babies starving to death, screaming into the camera. This is not about, he keeps telling us this is about our safety. It's not our safety. And we let the flour in. They were carrying bags of flour yesterday. They were saying, let the flour in. You know what? I found this today. It's just that we only are asking for flour now. We've got down to just flour. Like, I was listening to various reporters this morning, actually in Gaza, and they were saying, they can't give their children a piece of bread. And I'm like, we've managed to be brainwashed down to all they need is flour. Never mind protein, never mind fruit and veg and oil and fats and all the things we need for a human body and brain to work. We just have some flour with some water that we can make into bread.
Well, Dr. Mo, the Beast from the East, was saying in his interview, wasn't he, the other day with Owen Jones, he was saying that prior to October the 7th, 65% of the population in Gaza were in the early stages of malnutrition.
They kept, the food has always been controlled, and the water is very, very tight, and now it's worse than ever. And listening to an Al Jazeera journalist today, he said, you can hear the babies screaming, the children screaming with hunger, and the parents are desperate. Parents are fainting from hunger, and there's nothing, as when he said, not even one mouthful of bread can they give them.
I saw a meal that a journalist, a Palestinian journalist with his colleague was, and it was a teaspoon's worth of oil, watered down oil. It was kind of, and one piece of bread, and that was for them to share, half tomato, to share for the day.
All the parents are being able to give is herbs boiled in water, just to put something in their stomach. They're tying stones to the children's bellies to make them feel like their bellies are full. Because what the other thing is, guys, if there is any food found, and I got this from Children Not Numbers, it's the cost.
Oxidus Magicus says flour is $120 per bag. There was footage yesterday, I was trying to find it this morning, of a young boy, a teenage boy, running into his family. Did you see it? He landed with the bag of flour. And I'll tell you what, the part of it that really struck me was he was laughing as he landed with relief. And I thought, even in this, they can manage to find somewhere to kind of be grateful. Fucking hell. And they've landed with a bag of flour. So he's dodged bullets. He's dodged the Gaza humanitarian bait stations where you get shot at.
Well, this is what this journalist was saying. He said, they invaded Deir al-Balah. It's difficult to say.
Which is the central part of Gaza, which is the least hit. Actually.
Yes. And so they've displaced the people there. They're making them move again. So people are starving. They're thirsty. They're having to carry the few belongings they've got, and their children, because their children are so starving. And because if not, they'll be bombed and shot where they are. But all of it is about moving it down to the camp where they are concentrating the last of the Gazans, so they can take, the north, the south, and then put the settlers. We've all seen the documentary. I know most of you here have. The documentary, the brilliant documentary by Louis Theroux. If you haven't seen it yet, watch it, because it will explain to you what's going to happen next. So when they've cleared Gaza, if they're allowed to do the full genocide and totally, then those settlers will then move into that area. And God only knows what kind of a society that is going to be. Because these are 800,000 people that don't work. They're completely financed by America. They're from all over the world. They are deranged with hate and brainwashing against the Palestinians. And what are they going to do if it's totally ethnically cleansed? What are they going to do with all that rage and that lack of education and that lack of moral clarity?
So
I wonder what kind of society that'll be.
No, I agree. I just want to give you just some of the facts of the stories. So more than 111 aid organizations are warning today of mass starvation in Gaza. Israel is facing mounting international pressure. They never experience pressure over the catastrophic humanitarian situation in the Palestinian territory, reports The Guardian, where more than 2 million people face severe shortages of food and other essentials. The UN said on Tuesday that Israeli forces have killed more than 1,000 Palestinians now at the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation sites, which is now, so there have been more casualties at the humanitarian bait boxes than there were on October the 7th. Just giving you that as a
this
comparison.
is because the journalist was explaining, you've got to understand, because people might be thinking, why do they keep going to this place where you got shot?
Yeah.
That is the level of desperation. He said,
no choice.
Their children are crying all night. They're starving. They have to take the risk and make that run for the flower.
I'll just give a statement with 101 signatories, including Doctors Without Borders, Save the Children, and Oxfam, have warned. Now, get this: they've got aid workers in Gaza, Palestinian aid workers. Our colleagues and those we serve are wasting away. Understand that. The humanitarian aid providers are having to queue for food because they can't supply aid. They are unable to.
These are their employees.
The signatories of the 111 aid agencies said this in a shared statement. Palestinians are trapped in a cycle of hope and heartbreak. I think this is the quote here. Let me just pop it up to read. Waiting for assistance and ceasefires only to wake up to worsening conditions. It's not just physical torment, but psychological. Survival is dangled like a mirage. The humanitarian system cannot run on false promises. Humanitarians cannot operate on shifting timelines or wait for political commitments that fail to deliver access. All of this makes David Lammy directly responsible. He will rue the day that he gave short shrift to Kit Malthouse in the House of Commons when he said, "You will find yourself in The Hague." They are directly, in their language and lack of language and policy, they are culpable.
Have we got that clip of him being interviewed yesterday?
Yes, I've got it here.
Wait till you see this.
I think this is an ITV journalist.
I thought when I saw it, it wasn't real. I thought it'd been a fix and they'd put this long delay on David Lammy, or that it was AI. I couldn't quite, because it was so odd. He was like frozen in time, wasn't he?
Is a violation of international law. Do you know who said that? That was said by you, Foreign Secretary, yesterday in the House of Commons. So when you've got Israeli ministers saying quite openly that they're willing to violate international law, and that's by your definition, why don't you take them at face value? Palestinians have been driven out of roughly 85 to 86% of Gaza's territory. There's now 2 million people in a 20 square mile radius. I just want to quickly read you a quote. Gaza will be entirely destroyed and the Palestinian people will leave in great numbers to third countries. Do you know who said that?
You tell me.
So that was said by Bezalel Smotrich, who's a minister in the Israeli government. I'm going to read you another quote. Permanent forced displacement is a violation of international law. Do you know who said that? That was said by you, Foreign Secretary, yesterday in the House of Commons. So when you've got Israeli ministers saying quite openly that they're willing to violate international law, and that's by your definition, why don't you take them at face value and suspend all cooperation until you know for sure they won't do that?
Let's be clear. We have got no free trade discussions going on with Israel. We have sanctioned Israeli ministers. This war must come to an end. I'm very, very clear about that, and so are our other foreign ministers. When I look at the children who are being killed, waiting for food, all of this is egregious. We have asked the Israeli government to think again. We've told them that their aid system isn't working. We've told them to stop prosecuting this war and this conflict. And we're absolutely crystal clear now that this war must come to an end.
Yeah.
We asked them to rethink.
Crystal clear. Does anyone here think they are being crystal clear? Because they're still arming Israel. So do you think they're being crystal clear to Israel on just how egregious they believe what is going on?
Let me be clear.
Mark, crystal clear.
Let me be crystal clear. It's just unforgivable, isn't it? It's utterly unforgivable.
We literally have no words left. We feel like we are internally imploding on a daily basis.
I do want to say what should have been said when Lammy. Let's just take him on the detail. When he says we no longer have free trade discussions, we do. We're not discussing future free trade. So nothing's changed in our relationship. And I went to great lengths yesterday to describe how the sanctions against the settlers, one of the major sanctions being freeze on all foreign assets, most of their assets are in Israel, and a freeze on travel. The clue is in the name settlers. Do settlers sound like they want to travel, apart from into Gaza or land that's not theirs, to occupy it?
Can we just remind everyone that they are called illegal settlers, both in international law and in Israeli law? They are illegal what they are doing.
But in the same breath, only tomorrow, I think, or today, the Knesset is voting on annexing the West Bank. So it's going to be formed. So when the papers say Israel is under pressure, they're not talking about it from the perspective of Israel. I think what they're saying is people are trying to exert pressure, but Israel is feeling absolutely no pressure whatsoever. Quite the opposite. They're now talking about annexing the West Bank. There's no pressure. There's no pressure whatsoever.
I'm just looking for...
I'm just going to read this other quote whilst you're looking for that. Speaking to the UN Security Council on Tuesday, Guterres described the situation in Gaza as a horror show. He said, malnourishment is soaring and starvation is knocking on every door. And now we are seeing the last gasp of a humanitarian system built on humanitarian principles. That system is being denied the conditions to function, denied the space to deliver, denied the safety to save lives. Now, I'm going to say this isn't Nadia's opinion, this is my opinion, and it's an increasing opinion. I did a poll on my Instagram, and 96% of a vote of something like 3,000 people came out on top of this. I believe there needs to be a military intervention on behalf of the Palestinian people to save them. Because if this was happening to any other people in the world, that's precisely what would happen. Nothing is stopping Israel. And rather than all this rhetoric and all this language and all this posturing, someone has to go, all right, okay, well, we've tried for too long. Here's the line in the sand.
We need to get the food in. We're just
we now
bringing
need
it
to
in.
send in not the GHF. You need organizations, countries, Arab nations, as well as some Western nations with a sensitivity and sympathy for the Palestinians, not simply an ally of Israel with pepper spray and guns, to go in and escort the aid in. It's got past all of this. It's got past it. We would be enacting military intervention.
For a humanitarian crisis.
The danger, of course, what's the danger with that? Can anyone guess in class what the danger would be with, say, a British, French, European neutral army going in to protect Palestinians? What would they be naturally defined as in Israeli terms? Terrorists.
Inciting terror.
It's the only
Double
solution.
Down News, subscribe to them. Excellent channel. Richard Sanders, producer, journalist, and author, has put, you might well know his name, know his face actually. He's done loads of stuff and made lots of documentaries for all the channels. And it's called, the video, I think a lot of you be interested in, why Labour really supports genocide.
Send the link to me and I'll pop it directly underneath this once we come off.
Because it's really interesting. And they're a really good independent news channel,
really
so they're good
point.
to support. So subscribe to them.
I love your MeTube says UN peacekeeping can't be used, right? Because Israel doesn't say it's a war. So why does everyone keep calling it a war?
Everyone else calls it a war.
They keep calling it a war.
There's big demonstrations.
It says it's going after terrorists
against the UN because, you know, every day they come out and they make these statements, but nothing is being done. I mean, just everyone is just watching a genocide.
Look, I promise you. Okay, I found it. I'm on my ADHD vibe. I know what the solution is. We have exhausted, I think, for far too long,
democracy.
Words, rhetoric, democracy, polls, diplomacy, sanctions, all that bollocks. Forget all that. Israel has actually been incredibly clear. None of that is going to work. The only move now is for Western leaders and Southern Hemisphere leaders, just countries with a belief in humanitarianism and international law, to all collectively say, we are putting together an army of aid workers and humanitarians, a peacekeeping army to go in and supervise this entire situation.
And just get people fed. Just for the first, can we not just get people fed first?
But
can we, what about if
it's
the
only
first
solution.
we just let the baby formula in? That would be great.
It's the
Let's
only
start with
solution.
the babies. Newborn babies are dying every single day, just dying. Bam, bam, bam. God. Could we just get, just today, is there any power across the world? You know, if Israel's government is the friends of all these governments, the great friend, the great ally, the great partner, is there any one of you leaders that could pick up the phone as a great friend of Netanyahu and say, could we possibly, just for today, while we're still working out what we might do tomorrow, could we get that in? Not one of them would Netanyahu consider a good enough friend to do that for. And all those leaders across are getting a load of shit from the people. They are.
Yeah.
They're taking it all for netting.
And in fact, as I'm looking through a glass half full, so we've got one solution. Come on, let's promote it. The other thing that is happening, and I think it's an opportunity really. Yes, huge numbers of the Labour Party have been compromised likewise by the Israeli lobby. They've had funding, they've had support. Friends of Israel have flown them out to Israel, etc. Wes Streeting, who I haven't had anything much to say about positively at all, apparently said in cabinet, we are dangerously close to recognizing the Palestinian state when there is no Palestinian state to recognize. Now, okay, too long. We've all been saying it. It could have been sooner. I genuinely think that all of what we're doing, what you're spreading, what you're sharing, when you're screen recording, when you share Nadia's stories, my stories, other people's stories, when we're sharing, I do think actually this is making it difficult. Someone's just said that Starmer, maybe you've seen him, is he doing the rounds on the news channels? People are bombarding the Starmer with messages today.
Now, listen, do you remember when we were doing the In Her Too campaign?
Absolutely.
And we got in to see Wes Streeting within a couple of days? It was because his inbox, he said, had blown up with people tagging them in.
Blow up Keir Starmer's, not blow up like
blow up with messages. God help us.
Flood Keir Starmer's Instagram DMs
with messages.
When are you going to? I mean, recognizing a Palestinian state, it is a gesture, but it's a gesture nonetheless. It could enshrine something before there is no nation, because we're that close to there being no nation. It's gone horribly quiet. The sort of routine of famine. This is the quiet part of the final part of the solution. This is the moment where all energy levels deplete because they have starved the population. And so the end of a genocide isn't a great big bang moment where everyone goes, oh, it's gone. The end of a genocide is a slow, silent fade to black.
And I'm sorry to say it, we need very famous people using their platforms. We do need that because it does work, because the papers will cover it, because Western media won't be able to ignore it.
Well, Nadia's going to be doing a post about the Daily
Express.
Famous
people, really famous people need to come out and speak strongly, ferociously.
Especially if you've advocated for other
and Miss Anne Harriman did a brilliant post the other day where he was reaching out to all these famous people that are part of Save the Children, UNICEF, Oxfam. You can talk out for every other child, but not these children. And he's begging them. He was so beautiful. And he said, I'm pleading, I'll help you. When nobody's going to be angry, just do it. We just do it. Everyone fucking stand up and say, no, 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 no. Because people will regret it. I'm telling you, people are going to regret not talking. Not like, oh, because you're going to do terrible things are going to happen. But you're going to regret it when you actually see. When you see what's happened. I've watched a video now that was out yesterday. I'm sure some of you have seen it. I have gone back and forth in my head whether I can post that video. I know it would. It's so awful. It's literally a pile of children on the floor in a hospital. There's one little one. He's about 2 and he's just got half his leg off. There's another one with his belly hanging out. And I said to Mark, I've gone back and forth. I said, I have a reach, on Instagram that would go far and wide, but it just doesn't feel right to do it still with those children. It's the weirdest thing. So at the moment I'm working out how do I get that out? Do I talk about the video? And so we think very carefully about what we do, because it is A, it's scary to speak out. B, you want to hit people in the right. You want people to respond. And he was so brilliantly explaining that. He said, I'll help you. Any of you famous people, I'll help you do it. We can help with the words. I'm going to message him later and say, has one fucker come back to you? I mean, think who's with such a famous, say David Beckham, who has that kind of power, or
you need Beyonce. You need those crossover people.
You need those massive people.
I know Joaquin Phoenix came in for stick on his Theo Von podcasting because he wasn't particularly clear. That's just his kind of rambling style. But it takes people like Joaquin Phoenix talking on interviews and but you need people.
But they talk in code.
Yeah, I know.
You need someone looking down the barrel of the lens and saying.
I'm sorry to hear that, Kirsty. That's horrible. A friend cancelled seeing me on Friday because I'm posting so much on my stories.
Oh, no. A friend of mine messaged me the other day, didn't I? She's the most zen, lovely woman. And she said, oh, my God. She said, Nadia, I don't know how you, Mark, have been doing this. She said, I've posted a few things on my stories. I can't believe what I've got back. But we must flood it with love. Well, not with hate. The way to find it back is to go to your heart.
I can't remember who said it yesterday. I think it might have been a meme. I might have shared it. I can't remember who said it. But if you are still, if now you are justifying the Israeli foreign policy, you are a deeply disturbed individual.
Yeah.
I mean, really, there's no hope for you. And I would argue that for a lot of you, if you post and then you get a trolley kind of thing, it's more than likely going to be a bot, because I can't believe that too many humans can feel like that.
Don't answer them.
Don't ever engage.
Don't engage, because it feeds that. It feeds that. Don't ever engage. I just block them immediately. It's not worth it. I'm not going to talk to anybody that defends a genocide, and it's more than likely a bot.
They try to draw you into a rabbit hole, which then kicks the algorithm, and then more of the bots will seize upon it and start fixing. Don't. It's like a swarm. It's like a swarm.
It just breeds more hate. And what you want to do is breed more.
Anyway, guys, please do subscribe. Do subscribe. Nadia's going to be posting something later. One of the papers has featured. We're not going to show it here. It's bizarrely, it's almost too distressing. I think
YouTube would probably block us, but I am going to post it very soon in the next 15 minutes on my Instagram. Please help by sharing it. Please do that. Remember, I know I say it all the time, save the post, make a comment. An emoji doesn't help the algorithm. And copy in Keir Starmer, David Lamb. Just keep on doing it. Post. Go to loads of accounts where there's people posting about Gaza. Be an activist from your sitting room. You can be an activist without having to, do too much.
And just to say to anyone who's watching this, who can't comment, can't like, because you don't have a Gmail account, if you go to Google Mail, just create a Google account, a Google email account. You naturally are given access to YouTube as part of setting up a Gmail account. Once you've got a Gmail email, it's very quick. It's very easy to do. You just put in you put in an alternate email that you can get security code sent to, put in your mobile phone. Your Gmail account will be set up. And once you have a Gmail account, you can then you can then share, you can copy links, you can subclip and all the rest of it. So, do that.
Exactly, me too. Israel has armies of people that they pay to post, like Russia does. So we have to flood the internet with positive. You're an activist army.
On that, Superman, just a headline.
Yes. Wow.
Thinking of banks of trolls.
Yeah, they have loads of monkeys in it, don't they, being trolls?
Were you struck by the parallels?
I was struck by the parallels, but also at no point is it ever mentioned anything about Israel or Gaza. So those that were asking for it to be cancelled because they say it's anti-Semitic, so
you must have a guilt.
Where's that come from?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where's that come from? What you see in yourself is nobody else's fault.
Christopher Cundall has just gifted 50 memberships, Chris. That's very kind of you.
Oh, thank you,
So 50
Chris.
of you can now access the No Name Sunday show. There's a cook-along this coming Friday. It is a politics-free area for those members who want to just escape.
And just have hang out your together. Version of the Osbournes.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, guys, thanks for all your comments. Thanks for all of your thoughts and opinions. And Christopher,
please hit that subscribe button and share. Thanks.
See you later, guys. Bye.